Right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to day one of the Cape Town Premier League 3.0. Nice cold day in Cape Town, although we're happy that the sun is shining. It is game number 4 today. Rebels taking on the Heat. Heat playing from left to right in red, taking on the Rebels. Like we said, it's a good day to be here. Thank you for watching. Trying to somehow resurrect a hockey season that's been disrupted, as we know. But glad to be giving the boys and girls chance to play some hockey. Again, my name's AJ Spirinsuk. I'll be here throughout the day. And if you've got any comments, questions, or players you want to support, please let us know and we will give them the due creds on social media. Also follow us at CT Premier League, and you can watch us on Facebook for the next 4 days as we bring you live coverage of the games. Overhead from Heat into the Rebels, deep into the Rebels area. Now Heat with a lot of pressure, just ball outside the 25. Just looking at the Rebels boys, under 18 boys, the names of the players: Daniel May, Daniel Ndlovu, Dylan Geldenhuys. Says Rebels moving to the side of the circle, takes a shot in. Well defended by the Heat as they try and move the ball outside their 25 now. Just carrying on with the Rebels team list: Dylan Geldenhuys, Emil Louis, Gordon Morrison, Jack van der Merwe, Jaden Damas, Ludwig Lawrence Gersner, Matthew Romanus, Matthew Fester, Michael Wheeler, Murray Goodwin, Ryan Cunningham, Skalk Besaidenout, Spencer Thalrose, Tando Ntaka, Viwe Mbata, coached by Devon Stanton. Coached the Western Province under 18 side for many years. Also still involved at Wynberg Boys. Then bring you the Heat lineup, coached by Anton van Lochrenberg, currently the SA indoor goalkeeper. The Heat team: Andre Becker, Ayon Hendricks, Brady Fritz, Fayad Daniels, Findy Frost, James Robenheimer, Justin Mulder, Lishlemo Nkwana, Matthew Miller, Michael De Toy, Nkululeko Manani, Ulwetu Mafuta, Paul Postumus, Ross Martin, Ryan Goodsell, Skalk Bierkus, Sebastiano Panieri. As Heat putting the Rebels under lots of pressure just outside the 25. Unfortunately, a ball missed ball, and Rebels look to build up under a little bit of pressure on the deep in their half, and Rebels put the ball out under lots of pressure. Heat with the ball now on the right hand side as they build up from left to right. Again, ladies and gents, thanks for joining us. We have matches on Province Creek Club B field that we are currently watching at the moment, as well as matches on the A field. We'll give you some score updates from the A field as we get them. But again, thank you for joining us, and please follow us on all social media channels at CT Premier League as we bring you the coverage all the way till Sunday. Again, it's another special day for hockey in South Africa. Our national teams are about to get onto a plane to Tokyo for Olympics. A lot of those players have come through systems not like the Cape Town Premier League, but junior school hockey systems, played at provincial level. Some of them didn't even play at provincial level as early as under 16, so there's always the belief that you can make it. Remember, 3 years from now it's the next Olympic Games, so we don't know any one of these players that we're watching today could potentially be in that side. So we wish the South African men's and ladies team well as they travel to Tokyo today, flying the flag high in Japan. Again, we thank ES Media for bringing us this live coverage as well today, as they'll be bringing it through all throughout the day today. Just inside the circle, ball get lifted. Heat with a mistrap and it hits the player's foot. Now free it now from Rebels as they try, under lots of pressure, the Rebels trying to get the ball out their defensive area. Missed trap, another tackle inside the 25, Heat with the ball, flicked inside the circle, umpire deems it dangerous, he's playing advantage. Rebels with the ball. Again, another pass that's gone awry, and Heat now with the ball inside the circle, running along the baseline, ball inside, umpire played advantage, play on the far side, deflects the ball straight inside the circle, and all the pressure the Heat has put onto the Rebels has paid off as they go 1-0 up. It's only about 5 or 6 minutes gone in the game. So as you join us, Heat have taken a 1-0 lead with Rebels. Heat playing most of the game so far. Rebels just trying to find their feet a little bit, and hopefully this goal will spur them on a little bit just to get a little bit more comfortable and string a few passes together. Heat with the ball building down the right hand side now. Looking to take on a couple of defenders, but he was outnumbered, and Heat now with the build up and missed pass. A little bit of a clash in midfield, and Rebels win the free hit on the right hand side. Umpire stopping time just to check if the play is all right. Forgive me if I do not have all the names of the players. Unfortunately, we don't have our team list with us, but we're going to do the best that we can. But as long as we can just give you good coverage of whoever you are supporting, their brothers, sisters, children, grandchildren that you might be watching, we're just giving you some more live coverage. Good, nice overhead inside to the Rebels half as Rebels now win the ball, trying to build up down the right hand side, just again trying to gain a little bit of momentum, taking players on. Definitely from the outlook you can start seeing the Rebels players are happy to go try and take the Heat players on, where the Heat players are passing the ball around a little bit more and only really taking on the players inside the circle. As Rebel feeds the ball to another missed double turnover, Rebels win the ball again and hitting the reverse stick of a Heat defender as we're now just outside, free hit outside the 25, or just inside the 25, apologies. Big ball inside the circle, hitting the Heat foot and just outside the circle again. Heat now soaking up a little bit of pressure. Just a few players getting a bit stuck in. The umpire just making sure it doesn't get out of hand. It's now Rebels with the ball in midfield. A good 45 ball inside. Again, trying to take on the defender. Just inside the circle, reverse stick shot comes in. Umpire deems it hitting the back of the stick and free it out for the Heat. As Devin Stanton and Anton van Lochenberg, the two coaches on the side, shouting out instructions, trying to get both teams settled a little bit. Another Heat build up down the right hand side is slowly looking to make their way up the opposite side of the field. The Rebels playing a bit of a deeper press, but it looks like they're going to want to cut at one point. That's a tactic that Devon likes. We'll start seeing them move up the field a little bit. Good little opportunity down the right side. It's unfortunately Heat mistrapped the ball over the sideline as Rebels again try to build up, and just there we see again a little bit of a trying to take players on. Rebels completely different tactic to what the Heat is planning. Heat building the ball up down between the two centre backs at the moment. They're happy to keep it fairly patient. Lots of movement in midfield that you just off camera. Good midfield tackle there. As Rebels now look to counter attack as they cross the halfway line. Down the right hand side, Rebels again using a little bit of skill and winning a free hit. Again, Rebels with a chance to put the Heat under pressure just outside the circle. Rebels now building up the ball. Big ball going inside the circle. And missed all the sticks. And now 16 free hit out to the Heat. Again, ladies and gentlemen, if you're, please let us know where you're joining us from, where you're watching from. And we're happy to have you as we bring you some live coverage of some hockey that we've missed so dearly over the last year and a bit. As again, Rebels move down the left-hand side. Tackle coming in, umpire not happy with that tackle, and he will take a green card and he'll be off for 2 minutes, as the Rebels will definitely try and make use of this because they've been under pressure majority of the time, but they seem to be finding their rhythm just a little bit. But scrappy outside the circle as Rebels win it again. Rebels with another free hit just inside the 25 of the Heat, inside the Heat 25. Another ball, big ball coming in, hitting a stick of Rebels player. Heat still with the ball, or Rebels still with the ball. Hit coming in. It's a big goal line scrap as Heat somehow clear that ball out, as Heat now have a 16 free out. Another golden opportunity for Rebels to equalize. As we see the bench, as we said, Anton van Lockerenberg, coach of the Heat, current Western Province goalkeeper, South African indoor goalkeeper, is taking on Western Province outdoor goalkeeper. And he's looking after the Heat under 18 boys. And Devin Stanton looking after the Rebels under 18 boys as the Heat win a free hit just inside their half, as they look to build it up through their two centre backs. Another big ball coming through and a missed hit, and Rebels will look to counter now with this as they look to get numbers forward. Ball down the right hand side, inside the 25, and two Heat players clash as the Rebels get the ball inside it. Deflection past the keeper, and goal by Rebels as they make use of a midfield error. So they scored at the end of the first chukker with a little build up down the right hand side. It was a miss hit from the centre back from the Heat, picked up in midfield by Rebels as they counter down the right hand side, and a nice deflection. If we look at the CPL marquee players in the Heat, we've got Olwetu Mafuta and Kululeko Munani, as well as in the Rebels, Viu Mbata and Ludwig Gerson. The two of them have been quite influential in this game so far, all four of those players in fact. And we look at those other Rebels players, the marquee players that we'll be discussing later when they play. And again, 1-1 here in the first quarter. It's been a bit scrappy, but I reckon it's always first game. As soon as they get comfortable, these boys will be showing some immense skill, which they have been doing already. Again, thank you all for joining us. My name's AJ Spirinsuk, and I'll be looking after you on the commentary with I'll be having a few of the coaches with me later today. Some of them will be joining me in the commentary box as we bring you some live coverage today, Friday, Saturday, and then on the last day on Sunday. We will bring you some score updates as ball gets driven down the left hand side. Keeper makes a good save. Straight away, first minute, Rebels are putting the Heat under lots of pressure. After that first couple of minutes that the Rebels were under pressure, the Heat seems to be under quite a bit of pressure as they now go back to normal. Remember, they had a green card towards the end of the first chukker, and now they're back to 11 players as Rebels constantly putting the Heat under lots of pressure just inside that 25. Ellen Cup, thank you very much, Ellen Cup, watching all the way from Strand. Must be nice views looking at those mountains with all the snow on it. Thank you very much, Ellen, for tuning in. As again, Heat look to build the ball up patiently from the back. They haven't they've been a bit quiet on the attacking front. I think Rebels have put them under lots of pressure, and also they're holding the middle of the Rebels holding the middle of the field quite well. So it'll be interesting to see what the conversation is at halftime, or what the conversation was at the first chuck, as they try and break down the Rebels defense. But as it stands, 1-1 at the moment, as we bring you live coverage from Western Province Cricket Club in Cape Town for the CT Premier League. Good little build up down the left hand side now by the Heat. Oh, a few bad challenges there. Good free hit one outside by the Heat. It takes it quickly, but umpire's not happy with where the ball is taken. Now Heat look to work with the ball just outside the 25. Stay patient, look. Big ball inside the circle, and Rebels picks it up, and it's a counter attack. But again, umpire's happy with the tackle. Players aren't happy, but it's no chance to complain because Heat are attacking inside the circle now, or just outside the circle with a free hit. Ball comes in, another big ball, another well defended by Rebels, as Rebels now, umpire deems that it hit the back of the stick. Obviously players never going to agree with something like that when he had an opportunity to go 1v1 with the last defender. But free hit outside. As Heat moving the ball from just inside the half as they try and find some space, and some good space found deep behind the Rebels defense, as Rebels now have the ball deep inside their own half as they try now look to counter on the opposite side of the field. Some good skill shown. Ludwig Gerstner, captain of the Rebels, unfortunately with a missed pass, as Heat now looking for space down the left hand side. He can't find it. He's still got the ball down the middle. Feeds the ball in again. Rebels holding the middle of the field really well. And lots of space that they're trying to hold, because they identify that is an area that they'll need to keep as Heat. Rebels win a free just inside their halfway line. As big ball really well found to space down the right hand side again, as Rebels trying to dive down to the circle. Ball enters inside the circle. Ball gets played towards goal, hits a Heat player, and penalty corner. First one of the game to the Rebels as they look to try and extend their lead. So this is interesting to see what the call is here. They most likely going with Ludwig Gerstner from the top. Ludwig Gerstner comes in with a flick, and a good save off the glove of the keeper. And a very quick pass taken, but Rebels win it, and now driving inside the circle as shot comes in. Hits the Heat foot, and second penalty corner to the Rebels as one of the players goes down and hits him quite hard on his shin, and that's going to hurt. But he's up and he's ready to run again. And again, we saw a very, very quick hit being given, quick hit taken by the Heat as they try to relieve the pressure, and unfortunately hitting it straight to a Rebels player. Another movement inside the circle and another free hit one. So maybe a little bit of time, a little bit of patience was needed there. Another flick by Ludwig Gerstner, bottom left corner, and Rebels take a 2-1 lead. And a lot of pressure again from about the middle of the first quarter till now, that they've put a lot of pressure on the Heat and paid off with a second goal for the Rebels. Heat again looking for that patient build-up from the back. As Rebels are happy to sit back on the halfway line and defend. Lots of space that they're trying to fill in midfield. And that's where Heat have struggled to find the ball. As Rebels win the ball on the halfway line and now looking for a counter-attack. Lots of skill and a good tackle hitting Rebel's foot. As Heat are trying now urgently to try and get the ball upfield as they move the ball to the left hand side. Really well trapped as clash of sticks and Heat winning a long corner. As again they try and win that back, and Anton van Lochrenberg, coach of the Heat, shouting instructions from the side. And ball comes in and umpire again happy with the tackle, hitting the ball first. Again a Heat with the ball, the two defenders at the back as Rebels are very happy to sit back. Big ball comes inside and hits a Rebel stick. Will be another long corner to the Heat. I reckon from this side the Heat have just got to show a little bit more patience. They've got the possession that they need. I think they've just got to find a few more passes. And I've no doubt that similar to they played in the first half. And ball goes inside the circle, and unfortunately ball not travelling 5 before it was hit in. It's free it now back to the Rebels. As Captain Ludwig Kirchner from centre back, also looking to build the ball up. And Heat slightly different. They're going with a little bit more pressure from the back. And as they win the ball, play with the ball inside the circle. Oh, unfortunately, stick seemed to get stuck in the bottom of stuck in the turf. A golden opportunity for Heat to go equalize. Good ball through the middle, as unfortunately one good ball and another ball gets intercepted by the Heat as the Heat build down the right hand side. It's a bit of space. The Heat will be careful to make a tackle and free hit outside the circle, but there's advantage played by the umpire. And umpire played enough advantage, but it was just challenge came in, ball hit the stick, hit the foot, and another free hit to the Rebels as they're taking in quite a bit of pressure at the moment. And Heat we see with that high pressure as they putting defense under pressure so they can win that ball back, as Rebels still lead 2-1 at this stage. There's a ball down the right hand side. A bit of a challenge and an altercation, but deemed nothing wrong with the umpires, as Heat now seem to be gaining a little bit of momentum as they move forward. Good receive inside the circle, inside the 25, and unfortunately another misplaced passes. Rebels look to go forward at lots of pace. And a good free hit now to Rebels as Heat look to just get some defenders back. Space down the left hand side now is mistrap. And Heat with a little bit of time to breathe, as they could have had a dangerous situation by being a few men down there. Ball moving across the circle again. Rebels happy to sit back on the halfway line with their deep half-court press that they've been playing. And all they're trying to do from there is trying to counter-attack from that space. And at the moment it's working. But the Heat are slowly finding their rhythm with some good space down the right hand side. Again, just unfortunately, just that one pass that's being mistrapped. If they start stringing those passes together, they're going to start having a lot more opportunities inside the Rebels circle. Rebels now patiently trying to move the ball around the back. Still Heat giving them a lot of pressure. And free hit there. Rebels just finding a free hit. Another big ball and good ball through the middle, and you'll see there's a little bit different defensive styles between both teams. The Heat are going more of a high press and they're going more man to man, where the Rebels are playing more of a half court press and they're holding zones, and they're moving into spaces when players receive balls. So it's helping them at the moment because they seem to be picking up all the loose balls around. But that's the two defensive styles that the two teams are playing currently. And then from an attacking point of view, obviously Rebels will build off their defensive base by doing a lot of counter-attacking work, try and win the ball and go forward at pace. They've obviously identified they've got extremely fast midfielders and forwards. But the Heat on the other end, they're looking for a more patient style, looking to build up down either sides. They're only looking really for a counter-attack when they're pressing really high. But at the moment they're looking for a very more patient style, building up the ball down either sides of the field. They're happy to do that. Well, overhead thrown into midfielders. Again, Rebels finding a lot more space than the Heat would, than the Heat did originally. Devin Stanton shouting past the ball from the side. There has been a lot of 1v1 engagement, and the players have not made a lot of 1v1 moments here in the game where they could be passing the ball. And there's a golden example of it as Heat now go 2v1, and as they go 2v1, the halftime whistle goes. And as I was saying, the both teams are going 1v1. They're taking on another player where there are opportunities for them to make an easier pass somewhere else. So it will be something that I think that both coaches will emphasize in their halftime team talks. But as we hit halftime, it's 2-1 to the Rebels currently. And thank you very much for joining us. And as we bring you the CPL 3.0, and if we look at our previous winners of the CPL under 14 girls winners were the Raiders, as well as the under 14 boys won by the Raiders, under 16 girls by the Raptors, under 16 boys were won by the Royals, under 18 girls won by the Royals as well, and under 18 boys won by the All-Stars. And we'll see the All-Stars a little bit later today as those teams try and look to win CPL 3.0, but also the other teams looking to try and take their crown from him. It's a lovely sunny day in Cape Town, but still cold. We've got some snow in the Helderberg Mountains, Matrursburg, and we bring you some live coverage. Again, we would love to have you at the venue, but as we all know, it's unfortunately not possible. But this is the next best thing to bring you some live coverage courtesy of ES Media. And again, follow us on our social media channel, CT Premier League. Again, we have matches on the hour, every hour until I think 7 o'clock this evening. So there will be matches throughout the day. There are matches happening on the A field. As soon as we get some results from the A field, I'll bring you those results as they come through. And we are currently watching the Heat versus the Rebels. Heat going up early, going up 1-0 early into the first chukker, and Rebels were a bit under quite a bit of pressure, and then slowly finding their rhythm, coming back, scoring an equalizer just before the end of the first chukker, and then scored a penalty corner goal in the middle of the second chukker. We look at some of the CPL 2 stats, and I'm very interested to see how these stats will change in CPL 3.0's goal. 505 goals scored. Of those, 390 of them were field goals, 98 penalty corner goals, as well as 17 penalty stroke goals. Let's see how close, or if we can get past that mark. No doubt the players are going to be itching to be playing. Again, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for joining us as we bring you the coverage from CPL 3.0 here from Western Province Cricket Club in Cape Town. As Rebels playing from left to right, looking to move the ball. Heat already straight away going with a slightly higher press as they're trying to obviously try and get a goal back. Big ball down the right hand side, and press. Let's see what the coaches have probably said to their teams. Like I mentioned from my side, I think from the Rebels, they'll need to look to move the ball a little bit earlier in their counter-attack. They've been counter-attacking really well. As I speak with that, Heat with the ball just outside the circle. Ball goes inside, the shot comes in. Unbelievable finishes. Heat take it to 2-2. Great start from the Heat. It's the start that the Anton van Lochrenberg, their coach, would have asked for. Finding some space, and umpire had advantage. Player took the advantage and nailed one in the bottom left corner. What a wonderful start for the Heat. And as I was mentioning, that what the coaches will probably be wanting to say, and that's what he'll be saying to the Heat is I was saying the Rebels first. The Rebels will probably looking, another big ball coming inside the circle, keeper making a save, and lots of holes inside that Rebels defense at the moment. We were saying the Rebels had a very tight defense in the first two chuckers, and fortunately now already two passes have gone straight through the middle of those two of that defense. As they now look to build up. Heat inside the circle yet again. Ball went over the line first before it hit that Rebels foot as a long corner to the Heat. Heat now building with the ball down the right hand side. Rebels with all their players inside the D as they look to go with a full press like they've always done. Ball lifted dangerously by the Heat as Rebels now look to move the ball from their 16. Like I said, they had a very good defense at the start in the first two chuckers and just didn't start the first half as well as they would have liked to. As Heat now putting them under lots of pressure at the start of the third chucker. Rebels are looking to move the ball out, and again a miss pass down the right hand side as Heat with their high press from the end of the second chucker is now starting to work as they're trying to build up again through their two centre backs. So again, Heat with their high press as they look to limit the amount of movement around the back. Lots of pressure, but great skill. Ludwig Gersner moves the ball out the back as Rebels now look to go down the left hand side. Again, they a lot of 1v1 taking players on where they could have moved the ball, and it's something that Devon Stanton as their coach will want to get away. As Heat again inside the circle, as the shot came in, Rebels stick defender played that ball out. Keeper making so ball is still inside. Oh, and unfortunately playing the ball deliberately over his baseline, and Heat with all their pressure from the start of the third chucker now get their first penalty corner of the game. As we saw the two Rebels penalty corners from the first half were both drag flicks. The first one was saved by the keeper and the second one was scored. Very interested to see what variation they go with here. Most likely going with a flick to start, just to maybe have a look and see what the defense is running out, or maybe a variation from the side. Push comes out, goes to second castle, straight hit comes in and miss trap, but second shot comes in and I think it just hit the stick and played out by the Rebels. The good old fashioned straight hit from back in the day. I'm glad they're still using it. Big ball coming in and again trapped by Rebels and looked like a very hopeful pass. Again, double turnover as Rebels now win the ball and looking for counter-attack. Overhead comes in and into space, and Rebels with the ball inside the circle, shot comes in. Wonderful finish as Rebels, great overhead into space, well picked up and straight shot, didn't waste any time. And all that pressure that the Heat put on, they just forgot a little bit about their defense, as their defense was very high up in the field. And that's that counter-attack that we were speaking about from the Rebels. You can never count them out when it comes to a counter-attack from, especially from their midfield players. As now the game is starting to lighten up quite a bit as Rebels take a 3-2 lead, and now again they're going for they'll probably look to find space. Lots of pace down the left hand side, and good tackle coming in from the Heaters as they win a free just outside their circle. The player not hearing the umpire's whistle as the free hit should be on the 25, but umpire lets it play. As again, Heat look to build up the ball, looking down the left hand side, but no space down the left, so finds a pass in the middle as they look to transition to the right hand side. The Rebels seem to have closed the holes in midfield that they had at the start, and umpire not happy with the tackle as just the stick comes in. As you can see, he's not happy about that, and it's a bit of a lazy challenge and penalty corner to the Heat. And now a chance for the Heat to try and get that goal back. Push out, coming. Drag flick coming in, bottom right. Saved by the postman, and then seemed to have hit the foot of the Heat player as a counter-attack from Rebels come in, and good step by the Heat as now they're looking for space down the right hand side as they've got a little bit of Rebels players are now back in defense and give them a chance to recover as Ludwig Gersner wins the ball again under a bit of pressure, and another stick challenge by the Heat as Rebels will just take their time overhead to the right hand side with some space here as they ball on the inside. He's looking for a pass and unfortunately can't find the passes. Heat players in front of him. Rebels with the ball now. They've got lots of passing options and unfortunately finds one in the middle for as the Heat pick up. As they look, they've got numbers going forward. We've got a 4v3 situation. Just got to find another pass, and somehow Rebels have slowed it down as Heat stole the ball down the right hand side. Hits the Rebels stick and goes over the line, long corner and out to the Heat. Rebels with a chance just to get some numbers back. You can start seeing the players getting a little bit tired as there's lots of double turnovers and lots of movement from left to right. So we're moving, what's his name? It's another long corner now as Heat with the ball down the long corner. Now they look to move it, transition down to the left hand side. Big ball coming inside the circle as hitting a Heat stick, and ball going back out as Rebels now try and look to counter, and unfortunately another pass just to no play at the moment, and a little bit frustrating from the Rebels players as Heat now with the ball on the right hand side. A few challenges coming in. Umpire saying he's happy with that and most likely hit a stick or a foot. There's still lots of pressure from the Heat as overhead comes in, unfortunately not as high as he wanted it to be, but he's got the balls. Tom Walk down the left hand side he hoped, but unfortunately hitting the back of his stick. As Heat now with the ball down the right hand side as Rebels happy to sit back and defend the hole as he enters inside the circle. Ball comes in. Rebels pick it up as Heat now again with the ball down the right hand side, putting the Rebels under pressure, taking the players on. Shot coming in. Oh, and from about 6 meters out, goes past the left of the post. You'd be very disappointed with that, as all he needed to do was find the target. Another golden opportunity for Heat to take a goal back, as they are 3-2 down as we approach the end of the third chukker. Another overhead looking to find space behind the Heat, and Heat forwards putting the defense under lots of pressure. Heat with the ball now. Ball comes inside the circle and Rebels happy to defend that. And Heat still with the ball inside the circle. Ball comes in and Rebels defender calmly moving the ball out. And again another double turnover, and that counter attack that Rebels have been relying on has just been broken down by the Heat. But they're still holding on to a 3-2 lead at the moment, as they under lots of pressure from the Heat. Ball goes into the middle and Heat picks it up on the halfway line as they look to now go back inside the circle, finding stringing passes together. Little free Heat outside the circle, just finding a foot. So they don't look to be rushing it, they just look to be taking their time, finding their passes. Looking to transition to the right hand side now. Big ball coming inside the circle and mistrapped by the Rebels players. Just ball goes inside. Heat with the ball and shot came in. Another opportunity for Heat, still inside the circle. As they're looking to scrap inside, shot comes in. And wide. As the continued pressure from the Heat still not bearing any fruit at the moment, as they're still 3-2 behind. And another misplaced pass. I think it's just time for the Rebels just to... It's probably a whistle that Devin Stanton, the Rebels coach, would have liked. The team under enormous amounts of pressure, and he's just going to have to take this time just to calm his team down, just to rethink. I think Heat would have really liked just to have a few minutes longer for them to try and at least score, but they've had a lot of opportunities to try to equalize. And again, we think of how important will that third chucker of them not scoring those goals, how important will that be in the final score? We've got a couple of minutes left before the end of the game, and Heat still have a chance to pull those goals back, but the Rebels still have also an opportunity to correct that third chucker. Probably not their best chucker, that third one, but they'll look to try and rectify it in the fourth chucker as we move forward. Devin Stanton very quickly already got his team talk done. I think he'll just be telling his troops just to, when they're under that pressure, slow it down, find the next pass, play the type of 2-touch, 3-touch hockey, and just try and get comfortable again. And I think from the Heat is they've just got to keep plugging away to find that goal. Lots of opportunities for them as they continue now putting pressure on the Rebels. It's good tackle as the ball goes out over the halfway line. There's a free hit for Rebels on the right hand side. As it's still 3-2 here. As they look to Rebels looking to build the ball up. They've got some space now. Just got to look for opportunity, and of course intercepted by Heat, but retaken away back by Rebels as Rebels inside the 25 find a ball inside the circle. There's an early chance, is straight inside the keeper as they look to try and look for good golden opportunity to score a goal, as they find some nice passing opportunities, is finding a player. As they made a few passes and good save by the keeper, but now they win the ball again. It's halfway line as building inside the 25. Good tackle by the Heat as they now look to build it up slowly. They've been looking good, trying to find opportunities for themselves in the opposite half as Heat win the ball. Is now accounted. We've got with 1v2 situation. Good tackle, well defended by the Rebels. And this is where Rebels struggled in the first chucker by giving the ball away, but somehow they found a pass now out. It's in the halfway line. They've got numbers forward. They've just got to find a stick as they try and look to get the ball forward, as looking for passing opportunities. There's numbers inside the circle. Just plays the ball in and picked up by Heat as they calmly clear the ball out, and they look to move with a little movement down the side as Heat player mistraps balls inside, just outside the circle, looking for space inside. He's got inside the circle now. He's down the baseline, is looking for a foot or a free hit, and again well defended by the Heaters. So they look to clear the danger now as they under a little bit of pressure in the first few minutes of the final chucker of the game. Rebels now with the ball just outside the 25, feeds the ball inside the circle now as tomahawk shot comes in, as played, stopped in front of the keeper and then beaten the keeper. And Rebels take a 4-2 lead after all that pressure that they sustained in the third chukker. They go 2 goals ahead now. Just the body language from the Heat just says that they look a little bit deflated, but no doubt those boys are going to fight hard to try and find those 2 goals back. And it looks like they're ruining those missed chances in the third chukker. As we missed a missed trap down the right hand side. As Rebels now looking to build and intercept. Heat drive the ball over the halfway line. Ball coming in. Lots of space on the left hand side. Inside the circle, he's going to look for a shot to come in, and well closed down by the Rebels defenses. Good work by Rebels defense in that space. As the shot was about to come in, the defender came in and secured it as an overhead comes down to the left hand side. As we again, Rebels looking for lots of space down the left hand side, unfortunately missed losing the ball over the sideline. As he take a quick free hit and hits the Rebels foot. Now looking to patiently build the ball down the left and down from the left to the right through their 2 defenders. No space down the left, so they go back towards the middle. As Rebels have now reverted back to their half-court press with closing the middle space. Only leaving the outside as Heat find some space down the outside as ball hitting the Rebels stick and long corner now to the Heat. It's again patiently building it up. Look for passing through the middle as they find a Heat player just outside the circle. He feeds it back to the 25 and a missed pass by the Heat as the Rebels now again look for their counter-attack. They got a number at front and good little work there to disturb the passes. Heat now look to do the opposite, and it's end to end at the moment as turnover after turnover is leading to counter-attack after counter. There's another one as Heat again got a few numbers forward and the play is actually going a little bit too fast for my speaking at the moment, but yeah, Heat with the ball down the right hand side as they've got a free deep in the right hand side. There's a few tired bodies on the field as still Heat versus Rebels. Rebels holding a 4-2 lead at the moment and 16 given to the Rebels here. Thank you again for joining us, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll bring you live coverage for the CPL 3.0. It's day 1 here from Western Province Cricket Club. We've got matches on the A field and the B field, but we're bringing you live coverage from the B field. And don't worry, your son, daughter, brother, sister, or any of your friends that might be playing, you'll most likely see them as games have been rotated around so that there are games that both teams play on both fields. So you'll get to see some of your friends and your family playing later today. But at the moment it's Rebels taking on the Heat in 4-2. Remember, follow us on our social media channels, CT Premier League. As well, we thank ES Media for bringing us the live coverage. And again, we're sorry that you can't be with us, but we're bringing you the next best thing from the comfort of your home. We know those of you that are in Cape Town, it's a bit chilly at the moment, even though the sun is out. So enjoy a cup of coffee, some tea, hot chocolate. Maybe you're sitting at your couch or at your work desk. Just tell your boss you apologize. You're just going to watch some CPL hockey for a little while. No doubt he or she will be very happy for you to do that. As Heat now with the ball on the halfway line as they've got lots of numbers forward. 4v2 currently as inside the circle shot comes in. Unfortunately a miss hit. And ball goes wide. And remember, we bring you live coverage till this evening. And we bring you live coverage tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday. So under 14 girls are playing on the A field. It is the Heat taking on the Royals, and it's 3-1 to the Royals currently. As I say that, the Heat take a goal back as they win the ball in midfield and find space down the right hand side, beats the keeper, and a good calm finish as the Heat take 1 goal back in this 4th chukka of the match between the under 18 boys, Rebels versus Heat. So again, Rebels down the right hand side, they're finding a little bit of space, they're looking for something inside the circle, they've got numbers inside the circle, ball goes in, well defended. Bad tackle by the Rebels, wasn't in a position to get the ball there. As Heat now look to build the ball up, they've still got a couple of minutes left to pull a goal back. As Heat now halfway line, they've got numbers forward, big ball, great ball inside the circle as Heat look to score. As bad, unfortunately that challenge by Rebels just impeded the player just a little bit, and Heat have a penalty corner here to try and pull it back to 2-all. Oh sorry, pull it back to 4-all. As now we look, Heat are looking for an opportunity now to get their 4th goal. Drag flick comes in, and I don't know if it hit the stick or it hit the post, but another opportunity for the Heat. Ghana begging. So now you've got a opportunity for Rebels to go forward, but unfortunately they lose it. The Rebel striker outnumbered. The ball moves down the left hand side. Rebels with lots of space, a little reverse stick pass, and unfortunately finding no one inside the circle as Heat now have a free hit on the left hand side. A bit of space upfield as again they look to build up the ball slowly as free hit on the left hand side. More space, and he's taking on a lot of players. We had a lot of passing options on there. Counter attack, space inside the circle, but he unfortunately couldn't find a pass. He's now driving down the left hand side looking for the reverse stick. Plays the ball in, keeper makes a save, and again wins it back. Still ball still inside the circle for the Rebels as he try and clear the ball. As some good defending for the Heat as again they try and win that ball back. As again there's a couple of players walking on the field, some tired bodies. Very, very rash challenge as Rebels will play the rest of the game with a man down. 5-minute yellow card. As Heat now have their another opportunity with a man down to try and get that goal back. They've had lots of chances, and let's see if they can take a few more to get it back, or let's see if the Rebels can hold on. A big ball inside the circle and beats everyone. Let's see if the Rebels can take a potentially take a win here and defend their lead. No doubt they're going to try and get a few more goals back. It's 4-3 as the Rebels run the ball out on the side. Heat with another opportunity now. They've got numbers inside the circle. Big ball inside the circle as it finds a Heat stick. Heat takes a shot. And again wide. And yet another opportunity for the Heat to equalize. If they had scored the opportunities, it could be a very different ball game at the moment. 20 seconds left. As it hits a stick, and Rebels with the ball just in front of our commentary box area. As he looks for a big ball inside the circle. Hits a Heat stick, goes up and hits a body as Rebels take the ball, goes inside the circle. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. 4-3 to the Rebels. As the final whistle goes, Heat will be hugely frustrated with the amount of chances that they had to score, and Rebels will be happy that they held on to that. There were a few moments where They were a bit worried that they would get open defense, that they thought they would